We have massive trouble in the United States of America. And what does that mean for the silver price and gold price? We're going to cover that in this video. But last week, the Fitch rating agency downgraded the debt of the United States of America. Guys, this is not a good thing that's going on in our country right now. And is it coming to a head? And when it explodes, again, what is that going to mean for the price of gold? What is that going to mean for the price of silver? Let's dig into the details, but then I have some interesting points I want to make with you regarding how our government has reacted and, of course, what to expect from the silver price and the gold price as we head into what's probably the next year or two, when this horrible situation is going to come to a head, to explode. When the hens come home to roost, it's going to be crazy, it's going to be scary, and you need to be prepared. So I've got an article here from the Financial Times. They say this: the Fitch Ratings has cut the U.S. debt rating from AAA to AA+, citing worsening fiscal conditions and governance. 2 months after political brinkmanship brought the world's largest economy to the edge of a sovereign default. The first thing we need to remember is, yes, the debt limit crisis was resolved, but they didn't just raise the debt limit, guys. They suspended the debt limit. That makes no sense, right? They didn't just say, oh, now you can spend this amount more. They basically said, now there is no limit. What is that telling you? What is that telling me about the financial condition of the country? They didn't even want to put a limit on how high the debt can go. Not a good situation. The rating agency on Tuesday said its downgrade reflected expected fiscal deterioration over the next 3 years. That's a quote. Fiscal deterioration over the next 3 years and a high and growing general government debt burden. Fitch also noted an erosion of governance over the past 2 decades that, quote, has manifested in repeated debt limit standoffs and last-minute resolutions. That one paragraph should scare every American, and it's a good reason why we want to hold silver, why we want to hold gold. Let's break this down. Expected fiscal deterioration over the next 3 years. Yeah, where are we going to be in the next 3 years, guys? $50 trillion in debt. We're in a situation right now with $33 trillion in debt. We have a growing deficit. Our government continues to spend more and more and more money than they bring in every year. This year, over $1 trillion alone. And the interest payments on that debt continue to skyrocket, especially with the higher interest rates and the increase in interest payments. That just gets loaded right on top of, adds to that $33 trillion debt. People are calling for $50 trillion in debt. The situation is horrific. I'm going to leave it at that. A high and growing general government debt burden, right? Okay. Fitch also said erosion of governance. Yes, our leaders are screwballs. That's all I can say. Or they're very cunning and conniving might be another way to say it, right? Looking out for their own best interest, not the overall well-being of the country. Does it feel to you like the country has been pillaged over the last few decades? It sure feels that way to me. Now, what's even more maddening about this is how our leaders reacted. Janet Yellen, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, said she strongly disagreed with Fitch, calling the rating change, quote unquote, arbitrary and based on outdated data. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Does it feel like to you like they were confronting someone who has a drug problem with the fact that they have a drug problem, and the person says, I don't have a drug problem. What are you talking about? Right? Like they're in denial. For our governors, our government, for our leaders to not say, hey, you know what? We need to work on this. We got a big problem because, guys, we do have a big, big problem. No, instead, our leaders said, they got angry. I can't believe you're saying that. The White House responded with some anger as well. Like, what are you talking about? How could you downgrade us? That was horrible. Well, maybe they downgraded you because your financial condition is horrific. Okay, let's face the music here, guys. It's horrific. It's not tenable. It's untenable. I don't do good with fancy words, but you know what I'm saying. This can't work. It's like a giant snowball rolling downhill. And I'm telling you, the U.S. debt snowball, it's been rolling for a while. It's like 2/3 or maybe 3/4 of the way down the hill. But instead of address it, they want to get angry that Fitch cut their debt rating. Oh, okay. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And I think adds even more credence to the idea of owning precious metals to protect yourself. If these people aren't willing to recognize and accept that we are in a horrible situation in this country, and at this point, right, it's like the drug addict who's living on the streets, right, doesn't have a house, doesn't have food, doesn't have any money, and they're saying, I'm okay, everything's fine, leave me alone, I don't want to talk about my problems. If our government is at that state and won't even recognize and wants to deny what's going on, it makes me, and I want to know how you feel even more comfortable with the fact that we own real money, because those people, they're controlling this, right? Magic, make-believe, look, it has wings. Magic, make-believe, paper, imaginary money. That's all based on our trust in those leaders, okay? This is based on, some people say God, some people say Mother Earth, whatever, right? This is real money. This is based on 5,000 years of being valuable. I'll put my value, my wealth into this any day over that paper, imaginary, I know, some of you like to call it, and I do too, unicorn fart dust money, right? A lot of it we can't even see anymore. It's all around, right? Where's the digital dollars, right? They're all right. Gold and silver have been money for thousands of years. They've held their value. That's the important thing. For thousands of years. Yes, you could buy a bushel of wheat or two thousands of years ago with an ounce of silver. Guess what? You can still buy a bushel of wheat or two with that exact same ounce of silver today. Gold and silver are the way to go. That's my opinion. You do your own due diligence, right? Do your own research. Come up with your own ideas. But that's what I see. I also see that you've joined me here in the basement, and that's a big, big honor. Thank you for being here. I want you to come back, and you know what? For now, why don't you go watch a live stream? I'll see you soon.